Hello together. I'm here with a Traxxas TRX-4, a little RC remote controlled Land Rover, which I bought recently. Actually I got for my birthday. And to be honest, I've never been a big fan of RC cars. I never got into it. Really was nothing which interested me. But I read a few good reviews and I played around with it. And I have to say, I'm thoroughly impressed with this vehicle, because it's not just a normal RC car really. I mean, the weight distribution is nearly 50-50, so like a real Land Rover. It has low range and high range, like a real car. It has a front and rear diff lock. And in many ways, actually, when you drive it, it behaves very similar to the real four-wheel drive. So if you have watched some of my other videos, I obviously love technical and challenging driving with my big Land Rover. I really figured out that driving this little car will improve my driving actually in regards to the big car. Because with these you can obviously take a bit more risks and can try your angles. How the car behaves is so similar that it is awesome fun. You need the same driving techniques. You need to engage the diff locks as required. Sometimes you need a little bit more momentum. Quite often you can crawl it. The tipping angles and everything very similar. Really awesome car. The negatives. Does it have negatives? It's not perfect, to be honest, unfortunately. So one thing, for example, is that under pressure, if you steer down and your steering is locked, you cannot change your steering. Sure, you will say in real life that's the same. It is fairly similar, but in real life, as soon as I start very gently moving, I will be able to, in most cases, to manipulate the steering again and correct that. In this vehicle you can't. You really have to go back a fair bit, and it will not correct while you're going back really. Yeah, so that is something which could be better. Apparently you can put bigger servos in, but I haven't tried that yet, because obviously that will then affect also other parts. If you have a close look at my one, I mean, I already had quite a few rollovers, and you can really, or I do, I explore angles I usually wouldn't explore with a real car, because obviously you don't want to roll over. But yeah, that is great fun, and as I said, it will certainly aid the real car. The tires, while they're not, they have foam in it, but they are super soft, so pretty cool. Underneath, it has actually portal axles, so it gives you a very good ground clearance, pretty much like Tiny. It has drive shafts front and rear, center diff lock. I mean, yeah.
The suspension setup is awesome as well, with coilovers and oil-filled shock absorbers, which you actually can change for different lengths, different hardness.
So you have droop, you have compression, you have oil in the shock absorbers. Absolutely cool. And it is fairly strong. I mean, I have a little bit of video in here how I drive it, and I certainly don't, I'm not gentle to it. Yeah, I drive with far less mechanical sympathy than I drive the big car. But still, very sturdy. I'm impressed actually that I haven't really broken anything yet. But back to the negatives. The steering under load, the reverse gear by default is very fast. There's no low range in reverse. It is something you can change with the Bluetooth module. I just got that today, I haven't put it in yet. So you can get a Bluetooth module for this, and then you have an iPhone app, and you can change quite a few parameters then. You can also lower down the reverse speed, which in my book is quite important really, because it is definitely far too fast. This here is high range and low range. That's a steering trim. The multifunction one, you can actually have a low range cruise control in. Then here you have pretty much the diff lock, either front diff lock or both diff locks, and this is here how you steer the vehicle. Something to get used to is that when you drive forward and the lever here, this is pretty much, if you pull it, is driving forward. If you push it in the opposite direction here, that is pretty much braking. The first time it's braking, and the second time then it's reverse. That takes a little bit to get used to. On the top here I have the Diff Locks. That is something you can only engage the front or both. You can't engage the rear first and then the front. So Steve, for example, switched that around, that you can engage the rear or both. Yeah, gonna play with that a bit around. So it would be nice if you could really actually engage each diff lock individually. The ramp over angles with the Defender for the kind of crawling we do could be a bit better. I already pushed the bull bar all the way back in. The same with the rear bar. Yeah, because when you buy it, actually it has a rear wheel on here, and it will very often get hung up on that rear wheel. So that's something we removed, or I removed right away. Awesome fun, good car. Again, I don't have much comparison. I would think that they're probably far more expensive cars, but it sets you back around $900 with a remote, with a big battery. So not the cheapest, but absolute great fun. And I'm really convinced it really is improving my driving in the big vehicle. So would I recommend it? For sure. And it's good fun, really. We usually meet up, and the moment here we at Permetta Lake, which is perfect for it. And you easy spend 2-3 hours and you don't notice the time, because it's so much fun to drive them.